No, not I'm good.
Sure. So here I'm telling today, like DevOps, what are the roles and responsibilities we have to manage in the DevOps? What's the roles and responsibilities majorly? Like what we have to do and what else we need to work, what we are expecting to work, and what client is expecting more from us actually. So there are three roles actually here. So as we discussed yesterday, one is DevOps uh, infrastructure developer role, and another one is the application support role. Because why I'm discussing this means because of it will be used for your interview actually. So what you have to tell, you can note it if you want. Also, you can note it these details. You can tell in your interview as well. Like if they anyone ask you what kind of things you are doing in the office, you may take action because of you done a clear explanation. So it might be helpful for you to explain them actually. Production support. Okay. So coming to the part of what DevOps development infrastructure role. So there are nothing here actually. I mean, like everything you should create the your own by using the cloud or depends on the client tools actually. So for example, they are asking to set up an infrastructure, internet infrastructure. So we have to make it to create a servers. So mention like if you are in they are expecting from you as a DevOps infrastructure creator, then mention like so creating the servers, creating servers, then after creating the servers, couple of servers, then maintaining the servers load balancers, then setting up set up load balancers, then third VPC creations, subnets to set up server. I'm telling about only server part as of now. Create users, groups as well. Then five, allocate swap memories in servers. Then six, this all will come to the other part of server related DNS, Route 53, gateways. Okay, once you've done this, then go for the application part, deployment part. In deployment parts, creating YAML files to deploy applications. Before that, installing tools, installing softwares like Jenkins, set up Jenkins, Kubernetes, Docker, Git, GitHub as well for installing these things. Then second part is so configuration all tools in a single line. So you can say these things actually, this part. So if they ask you anything means so we will create the VMs. I mean servers means VM. We are creating the VMs and we are setting up the load balancers, VPC creations, user creations, group creations for in server related or application related part. And also allocate the servers, I mean swap memories into the servers, the DNS part, VPCs, route creations, I mean route 53, gateways, NAT gateways, these kind of things you can tell to them. You have knowledge on the server part as well. And deployment also you have to, yes.
Like, do you have document for all these steps, like how to do PPC creations and
No,
all
these are the
this?
basic actually. I mean, like it's not
Okay.
a big thing. If you go in AWS, you can see VPC create. You just click the creation, then it will create actually. But creation wise, you have to give the name of the VPC name. That's it.
Okay.
Then whatever the server you are allocating, so you choose the server name and you have to attach. That's it. So
If
there is no
a document,
uh,
can you document and give to us? It will be useful, right?
yeah.
Just a second.
No, no, yeah, going for means while I will show the real time, like how to add this, how to add the subject, then you can understand. It might be not a
Okay.
challenge actually, but if
Okay.
you're who are anyone giving here interview going forward, you just note these points. It might be help for you,
Sure, sure,
so
sure.
they can understand. Okay, this person is capable for in server related part as well. Like
Mm.
and configure the
Got
yeah configure the
So,
yes
it's a session being recorded.
yes recording.
Okay, okay.
Okay, and configuration AI tools, I'm sorry, configuration all tools in a single line. Like single line means it should be we have to integrate these all tools in a single way to deploy the application. And third is issue on server related, sorry, my handwriting bad, server related and application related issues. Then using Python, you can add if you have knowledge on scripting side, then you tell like using scripting or Python to automate tools. So this is part of you can add if you want your work also like testing if you have testing related part. So you can do like using SOAP UI. So you are of that SOAP UI part for automation purpose. You can add this SOAP UI into your Jenkins and also performance related. So you can mention that performance related application tools, then Cucumber, any other tools like load runner or else a different J meter. These are the tools you can add in your testing as well, and you can mention like these are we are automating and adding this Cucumber, Load Runner, JMeter plugins in Jenkins. So we cannot do manually. When we are adding these plugins, we have to write the Python or scripting details in the Jenkins file. Then it will automatically test the code and it will show test the performance and it will give the results in the end of the build complete. You can say like that also. This is the one.
Okay. Jenkins is Jenkins will generate to know the know the code and then test it on.
Yes.
We have to add the cucumber.
Yes. No,
Okay.
whatever tool you are, for example, Gatling is there. Okay, Gatling means it will record the test results actually. Gatling tool. And coming to the part of Cucumber and JMeter and Jacoco. Jacoco will generate the reports for your testing. So if your test is failed while after the coding, a developer who will do the developing the code. So this Jacoco code, what it will do is, so it will create the report and will send you the results of the code whenever what are the results. It's a failed or completed. Once if you are a developer, for example, so if you are a developer, then you can say that so I have written the code. So while writing the code, I will post into the GitHub repository. I will post into the GitHub repository. Then Jenkins will pick my code automatically. Then it will test and it will show the bugs from my code until the end of the build completed. Then I can see the reports for my test reports and everything. According to that, I again rebuild my code and I will again use the GitHub repository and to filter my code in the end of the using the Jenkins build. I mean like jobs. I can say from developer end. Testing end, you can say this side. So SOAP UI results and this Jacoco reports for the testing results, any kind of things, performance results. These things you can add in testing side also. And coming to the part of this one, applications role. So what application role means after the entire setup. So here what we are doing is we are doing deployment activities. So we are checking RN. So RN means release notes. So what we are doing is mostly the developer who are developing their code, we are getting versions actually. After Jenkins will build the code, so we are getting versions like V 1.2, 1.1, 1.3 like that. So these versions will store into the repositories. So according to that, we have to check and we have to update our release notes actually. So previously what we have deployed and next what we are going to deploy. So there we have to see the differences, what are the APS or else applications, what are the new updated version has been changed. So we have for example we have 20, nearly 20 APS is there. So in next sprint, so the next sprint, we are going to update only 10 APIs, not entire 20. So, what is the previous version of 10 versions and what is the latest version of 10? So, you have to update in the release notes for your for better understanding for the others as well. So, if there any issues may come, we have checked which versions we have updated and that we have to account to the check and we have to roll back the immediately also. So, that is one thing, maintaining the RS notes and Confluence page. We have to provide all the details and any updates and everything in this conference page. Jira, Jira creations for deployment activities and also maintaining the applications. So here any small issues may come like application is not deploying properly. So application is while we had deployed it's showing restarting continuously or evicted or else not working. So we have to check and we have to restart the applications. For example, if a Jenkins server went down, so we have to check and we have to restart the server. If the any setup is not compatible with the specific application. For example, our code is Java 11, but we have installed in Java 8. So what we'll do is we have to roll back or we have to take a different way to support this Java 11 version. So we have to check with the developers and we have to do this setups. This is a small task actually, not a big one. And also maintaining the application performance actually. So for example, any memory consumed. Okay. So due to some memory consuming more. So what we'll do is we have to check the memory. We have to delete the log files or memory located details actually. These are this kind of things we have to do in the application support part actually. So major. So here you guys, some guys who are being support previously in the coding side also, what they will do is entire develop coding who are develop. What they will do is usually any modification, small changes or any upgrade changes, license version kind of things. What they will do, they will pick the code or they will fork the code from the repositories and they have to just do the basic or else somewhat advanced level of coding they will make and again they will push into their repositories. So this entire thing should not do by the main developer. The support developers can handle these things actually. So like that here application support. So prod support means there is here we are getting issues from the users. We have some portal called ServiceNow. Hope you are aware ServiceNow or Unity. Now ServiceNow is going down because of Unity. Unity is coming from open text. So here we are following incident tickets, request tickets, HIMs, outages, impact creations,
Little bit slower. Incident tickets. Next one is request
request
tickets.
tickets, HIMs, outages, impact creations, and as well production activities. So here usually what we'll do means early morning once we have shifts here actually. It depends on the Paris time or UK time, US time depends on that. So in only production guy only has to I mean some shifts actually. Here they will do exactly 8 hours. They won't extend even their even single hour also. If they extend their hour means the company will pay the extra hour actually. Okay, it's mandatory for they will do the 8 hours. But coming to the part of here, application support and developers, they will do extra hours actually around 10 hours, 11 hours, they 15 hours like that. But these are the production support places. They won't do any extra hours. The mandatory hours they have because of the shift allocation. So for example, my shift was Paris time. So I am supporting at morning 6:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. afternoon IST hours, for example. So what I will do means I will log in 6:30 a.m. early morning. So I will do sanity checks actually. So we can call this as a sanity checks. It means we will log into the all server, all applications. Sorry, we'll log into the all applications, and we have to check application status and application results and also application flows as well application how it's work. Do the some basic dummy test. So we have, for example, we have five applications. So early morning we need to do five application test and checks. So once we are fine for the results, I mean we are getting the positive results, then what we'll do means we will update PHC report. Means report. It's a globalization report. If your application is entire globalization, for example, I mean worldwide your application using, so we have to generate a report to notify to the higher people. So we did checks today. There is no issue from the application part. I mean like what we are expecting the results, so we are getting. This is one thing. And if any issue may come, so what we do, we cannot debug actually. We just simply notify to the as means if the debug means we can do basic checks. If they still we don't because of production guys doesn't have the much access to check in the servers. Actually, they have limited access only read access only. There is no execute access to them. So because of that, so what they will do is they will just take the details what they have access until they will take and they will escalate to the on-call people who are in the, for example, I am taking Paris, so who are in the Paris team. So then the on-call people will check and they will resolve the issue. If they are not resolving, so what they are doing, we are opening call to invite all related developers to that application. So what we'll do is we will call all related application. For example, data warehouse related middleware team, data warehouse team, admin team, DB team, development coding team, application team. Any kind of guys who are supporting for that application. So we will call all the people. We will gather them, and we have some documents also. We will take them and we will sit in the part of in call, and we have to resolve that issue. So that is our job actually to make up to club all the people into the in single call. And we have some documents how to follow the procedures for any issue. For any issue, we have some procedure to follow. We have to follow, and issue should be resolved. If until the issue is not resolving, then we will go for the this on call related part. This is the part. So if and also any issue may come for the access
Yeah.
on call. On call. Yes. Yes. If any issue may come from the user end, for example, here the production guy should know everything about front end and back end of the application. And here the minus is the develop guy doesn't know front end and back end actually. This is the difference from the prod guy and dev guy. So, I mean, dev means infrastructure developer guy. So, what this guy will do means whatever the, I mean, in request or details come from the higher end. So, that job only he has to do. He don't want to involve any part of front end and back end related. So, he just do the setup only. And this guy, he just do the deployment activities. He doesn't know the any front end back end how the work how the application react how the application works how the application behavior what are the dependencies of that application. He doesn't know exact more details on that. He knows somewhat 50 to 60% details only, and he will do the only deployment part and also issues part, this guy. So but only the product guy only the 100% knows entire front end and back end of the application and service related part because of his job is like that. So what here is so everything should be documented here. So he should not able to go on such anything. Everything should be documented. If any changes also, for example, here I informed in Confluence page and also release notes here, right? So these are these really, so these are reference to the this production days actually. What changes made, what have done, everything. So according to that, what they will do means they will analyze.
Production support pricing.
Ah, yes, but here we are using DevOps tools actually. That is the difference. Because we are
Okay.
not working on the support, so we are using Kubernetes, Docker, ELK,
Okay.
everything. Okay, but minimal because we cannot do any deletions. We can give only permissions or add users. That's it. But we are able to use the tools actually.
Hmm.
But here is we have to install, we have to make the admins, we have to set up the clusters, we have to set up the nodes, everything we need to make here in dev people. But in application part, what they will do, they will utilize the application which is set up by the infrastructure developer guy, and they are utilizing to the deployment activities. If any issue may come on the application part also, they will try to resolve. But most of the time, will do by the infrastructure people actually. But here is they won't do any changes, any nothing in the application part. I mean, tools part, installation part. They just do the uses of the application. I mean, the tools they will use, and they will utilize that details. And what they will do is they will help to users or dev people to analyze the issues actually. So, but three people can able to handle all the tools and all the part of the details of the application. But only this guy doesn't know, does know everything about the application part, front end and back end, everything. And these people has to the main job is setup and deployment activities. So if you are in part of here, so you have to say only deployment activities part. And if you are part of here, then you will get more questions for the each technology actually. So for example, if you are Kubernetes, they will ask you how you set up the Kubernetes, how you are monitoring the Kubernetes, how you set up the clusters for the Kubernetes, what is kubeadm, what is Docker, what is container, what is difference between image and container, what is Git, or previously if you are not using Git, what is previously which tool you are using, I mean source code management tool, which tool you are using, how what is the difference from that tool to Git, the different questions. So if you are admin in the Git, so how you are providing access. So if you are getting the issues from the Git, so how this part you will get more questions. In this part you won't get. This part, what questions you are expecting here is, for example, if you are doing the deployment activity. So if you've done the deployment, what if your deployment is failed? So how you will resolve the deployment? So like that questions you can get. So for example, if your server went down, what you will do? If your server is facing the more memory issue, what you will do? If someone asks you to do the deployment, will you do the deployment or not? So you have to any prerequisites to maintain the deployment activities. What kind of prerequisites?
Should have to be updated with this one
Hmm.
by.
Yes, yes. So there are means different questions from the each section you will get actually. From this part, if you get, so they will say what kind of incidents issues you may get, what kind of requests you may get, how you are maintaining your production, what is your procedures, so which tools you are using. Like segregation will be changed in each section. Questions also will be changed.
Okay.
So before introduction yourself into as a DevOps engineer, so be aware of this. Which side you are in. So according to that only you will get the questions. So you understand, right?
Production support, the production support and application support are working on shifts, sir.
No, no, no. Application doesn't have any shifts. Only production only have shifts.
Okay.
Here, why I am saying like you have to support more means because of, for example, today morning you have deployed the application, and the application has been worked finely. I mean, normally it's working. For example, after once your work is done at 6 o'clock, you have logged off. Then you got some
Okay.
issue. Again, you have to pitch into the issue.
So we are generally asking, so repeated, see, okay, production deployment will be taking care of the application
Hmm. Application team.
category four.
Yes, yes.
So it's there to only be one. It's without something fails, you fix it and you'll do what
Yes, yes.
on a specific happening fail. What be your you'll just monitor the application, everything will fine. And by as months maybe you have got a month experience on doing this job, so how will you proceed your day further?
Oh, for this application part you are talking about, right?
Production support.
Ah, you are getting incident tickets and also these tickets request. You are getting more actually. So
Oh,
per day you are getting 2 to 3 tickets nearly. So what, for example, take a bank project. Okay, you are working as a bank. Any from DSFA domain here?
no.
Any other domains?
Sure. Sure. I went to banking dimensions.
Okay. So you can understand. For example, today one user has sent amount 300 CR, okay, and his CR will went to the some instead of mean complete status. EMI is the complete status ever. So it went to the deck status, okay. So what they will do means they will come and ask to the first production support. So why my 300 amount, I mean 300 amount which I sent to the client is not converted as a complete transaction. It has stuck into somewhere else. So like this issues you may come. So that's the reason I'm telling the production guy has only know in and outflow of the entire application, like 100% he has to know the entire application. Then he has to debug that issues also and inform to the user which made he made the mistakes actually, what kind of mistakes he made actually. So whether he given any wrong details or any issues in while he is giving the details to the sending to the amount,
Huh.
so we have to know
Support. Like, there'll be something for the some development environment that they really don't know.
which one, this one.
Mhm.
No, this one no. They won't pitch in user issues. No one pitching in from the development application part actually.
Okay.
Why they won't pitch in means they doesn't know. Actually, their job is to set up the environment. That's it.
So,
So this guy job is to do the activities and to resolve the issues. This guy, and this guy part is only to support the users and
develop things.
okay, this team.
Or
Java team.
Java development.
Yes, yes. Java team you're talking about. Yes, Java team, what they will do means once we have analyzed and we have to send the details to them, still their user is expecting to more, then we will raise to the dev team.
Of this.
So see, today we have, for example, dev team is doing coding actually. Okay. If every issues, 5 to 6 issues, we have to like these issues, we cannot route to the dev team because they cannot do coding. So before that, we have to analyze ourselves. Minimum L1 or L2 checks we have to do from our end. Then only we have to take this part of structure we have analyzed, and you have to analyze the next level and tell me the result. Then only they can do. It may impact their I mean work as well for this. So development guy cannot do mostly in that part. If any issue, if any bug in that application, for example, then dev guy will pitch in and he will say, this is the bug from our end due to the yesterday release. Then we will do the hot fix of today at morning some specific time they will say, and they will ask us to make a downtime activity. So you know hot fixes, right? Hot fix, like immediately. Immediate fix. So because of why means yesterday deployments, any issues may come, any libraries may issue kind of things. So they will do software. So this part we have to analyze this. Yeah, I'm telling about BSFI domain guys because of BSFI telecom. These are the biggest uh, in current market actually. So they should not able to put the pressure to the developers. They have to take the specific DevOps prod guys actually here more into that. So unless they so if any, I mean, related for this part, while you are going to, I mean, you can project yourself as a DevOps engineer. You can please go through on this, which kind of role you are doing actually. So according to that, you will get the more chances. And any doubt till here?
No, 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 not I'm good.
No.
Still offline. Should I call you after this?
Yes, yes, yes. You're going offline now.
No, no, no. I told you I'll call you. Uh, call your mobile number. Let's call.
After this call, okay.
Yeah, I have a question on which I'll ask you on the call.
Okay.
Okay, phone call.
Okay. So now I'm going on the part of Git now. So what is Git means? So Git is SCM. So SCM means source code management. So it called as, so previously when Git is not in the picture, we are using SVN actually. SVN is the subversioning. I think everyone knows this, developers. Uh, what is subversioning also. So
Okay, nowadays you can walk using this happen when I
yes.
what?
No, no. It is the major thing. GitHub is the
My previous operation it had so many loopholes with the hack. The not secure, so they said we should not use this and they made it bandage clean before.
no, no. Git is the application actually in your, it will, it you should install in your local, in your laptop actually. So without Git, you cannot push your code into the GitHub repository.
Oh, oops.
So if you want to push your code into the local, so you have to install the Git. It's a remote actually. While you putty, you know, right, how you are using putty, uh, WinSCPs, this application while you're connecting the server. So like this only, Git is the remote server for the GitHub repository. Okay. So first question they will ask, what is the structure here? I mean, what is the architecture for the Git? So how the Git works, they will ask. So there are three stages in the Git. I'm telling about local, not GitHub, and it will connect to the GitHub repository. This is the GitHub. For example, I'm a developer. I'm writing a code. So my manager has created a repository in GitHub. So what I'm doing is I'm writing my code enter in my local, and I'm pushing that code into the GitHub repository to store into the available to the other dependency developers who are able to utilize my code, or they can add their dependency code into my code actually. So for that, we are using the GitHub repository. This is the distributed environment. Then anyone can able to pick the code, anyone can able to change the code, anyone can able to merge the code as well. So this is the architecture, like this we can call as a workspace, and this one we can call as index or staging area. This one we can call as local. How it works means, in workspace means your workspace where you are starting your work. So for example, you have created one directory or folder in your laptop. For example, you know this is my folder. So I'm entering to this folder. So I'm pulling the my manager who created the repository here. So I'm pulling that repository to my local, and I'm adding my code here into the files, creating the files and adding in this folder which is manager has been created. I'm updating that code in my workspace area. So once I have written all the files, details, everything, code, everything I have written, I am taking that into the, it is untracked file. Okay, we can call this as an untracked file, and we are making into the tracking file by using the index or staging area. We can call as a tracking area. So here once we have tracked those files, then Git will analyze, okay, this file should be came under our bucket. Now we have to ready to push to the uh, GitHub repository. They are ready, the files are ready for the committing. So what we are doing, we are doing the commit here to the local area. It means while you are creating any document, so you have to save the document, you have to specify the path, and you have to save some message. So what kind of changes you have made? For example, you did some code changes. You have to mention in your file while you are committing into the local area. You have to pass that message and you should commit. So once you are committed, your file is ready to push. I mean, you're ready to go to the GitHub repository directly. Then once you are done that, you have to push your code into the GitHub repository. Then the Git will store the code, what you have done the changes. So before storing the code, so the Git will maintain the code. So they will ask your manager for the request of merge. So your manager will see your code, and according to that, while merging, before merging, he will give the rating, that is +2, +1, plus 0, -1, -2. So how much bad, how much good your code while merging to the main repository, according to that you will give rating. So it will impact for your what we can say high cost. So according to that, this also they will analyze and they will give. So for example, this year you did around 8 to 9 major -2 reviews. Then he will take this also under your review part of the end of the year, and they will discuss on this also how bad you are in coding also. They will discuss on about this.
You also merge the code, so when merging, maybe it's a crypto and it's an automatic process, so you have to
No, it's not automatic process. Some which is the new code which you are building, it should be not automatic. Which is the already previous support coding, so it should be automatic. It depends on the manager. For example, if manager is fine for the developers, they can able to trigger the code should be automatic. Okay, you can directly do the automatic. So if manager is not, I mean, trusted to the any developers, then he can raise this issue to the pull request enable. Then whenever you are doing the merge your code, then you should mainly raise the request to the manager. Why? Because you, for example, this is my folder actually. For example, compared to the folder, I am the manager, for example. So I requested everyone, three developers. I requested three developers. Take an account. Okay. No, no. This is for the Java developers, not for me. But I am understanding to make you understanding how Git works. So, for example, my manager gave me a task like to add the songs into his repository, his folder. So, what he is doing is he created three branches. Okay, so he asked me to segregate different. So for example, one guy allocated to the Telugu songs to collect, one guy is allocated to the Hindi songs, and one guy is collect Tamil songs. So each has person has doing the- I mean, they are doing their work, and for example, this person has allocated two developers. For example, two persons allocated to pull the songs. For example, compare assume like songs code. Okay, and these people two are pushing the code and merging here. It will do the auto merge in where branch side. This is we can call as a branch actually. It will do the auto merge. But when you are going to push into your manager, then manager won't trust you actually. So he has to review what kind of changes you have made in your previous and current. Then only he can give the review for you -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. According to that, if you do the more changes, more things, he has fine for the if else conditions and the where loop conditions, everything, he is fine for that. Then only he can accept your code and he can merge into your code into the main repository. So why main repository means? So this repository only going to release into the live, not this code actually. This code only for your purpose, for the separate branches for you, they will allocate. You can do automate anything without their intervention. But coming to the part of main branch for releasing purpose, they don't want to risk their main code. Actually, that's the reason they will ask for the review.
Okay. Okay, one question here. Like, before first part is over, that word, Tamil, sorry, Telugu one,
Okay.
and the second one is Hindi.
Hmm.
Before he is trying to push the code, he needs to pull the updates from,
Yes.
and then only he can push, right?
It's a dependency. Yes, it's a dependency. If he wants to push the code means then he need to pull before that. Then only he can pull. For
Get the
example,
latest update.
he didn't pull the code. He didn't pull the code means then he cannot push the code. It will show the error.
Okay.
For example, the same thing, if the same user, I mean, two developers working on single folder, Hindi, for example, Hindi folder. So this developer done the changes, and this developer done the changes, and this developer pushed the code, and this developer pushed the code. Then this developer code will not push. Only this developer code will push. They will get the conflict error.
Okay.
So these are the questions they will ask. What kind of how you will resolve the conflict error and how you will do the merging. So for example, conflict merging also will come. So this conflict merging will also come. So they will ask how you will avoid the merging and again how you will do the merging. So different questions they will ask for the developers part because of you guys are some are developers here. So they will ask these questions for you also if you are using Git. So that's why I'm covering developer side understanding and admin side understanding. And our part in DevOps part, this is the understanding for the Git basic actually. And this part is admin part. So here we are providing tokens for developers or users who are into the part of this GitHub repository. I'm telling GitHub repository. Token creations and repository securities, like whether we have to made it repository as a private or public, any kind. Branches securities. So we have to secure the branches as well, and keys access to the users, how to provide the access, how to generate the access, how to generate the keys from local to GitHub, and GitHub actions. So now this is going to be trend future actually, and admin related task anything. So any upgradation or any activities, any kind of thing, different things. So we have to inform to the notify to the all the developers or users activities. This part only we can take care actually. 90% we won't get so much issues in the GitHub repository actually. So sorry, can you repeat this specifically? Oh, okay. So keys generation actually. So keys generation means token generation. So wherever the users have been going to clone the repositories, so they should generate the token in their GitHub repository. That the user doesn't know. Actually, we have to guide them. We have to generate the token for him. We have to give to them. Then only they can access. Actually, so for example, you are the user. So while you are pushing your code, in three ways we can push the code actually. So you can copy your three URLs. One is SSH, another one is Git CLI, and another one is HTTPS. These three ways you can copy. I know, right? I think you guys know how to copy and utilize this GitHub, right? Gayatri, you are just copying the repository URLs, right?
Actually, I worked on it one of years back, so I don't think
Okay. Oh, okay. Understood.
I worked on it.
You worked on it, right? So usually what we'll do means while cloning, we are using URLs actually. So while you are pushing your code into the GitHub repository, you have to use these URLs to download the code. So if you are pulling the code means you have to use before you have to use this URLs only, without you cannot able to pull the code from the repositories. This is one way. For these things there is some restriction should be there. Actually, nobody in organizations. Yeah, if you are in a normal user, I mean private, I mean public user, you can do anything. But in everything should be private in the companies. So there are some restrictions should be there. So everything should be going on the restricted way, like token generations and also key generations. Okay, so token should be work for the HTTPS and the key should be work for the SSH. So how it will do means, for SSH means secure socket host is a key. Yesterday I talked about Ansible. It's a SSH key. So we have to so same way we have to generate the SSH key in our local and add it to the GitHub repositories. And token we should create in a GitHub repository and provide into the local. So there is a two ways. So that user doesn't understand, he doesn't know also. We have to do that for him. So some request may come sometimes. And branches securities. So what it will do is, so for example, I am going to deploy the applications. I'm starting. So before deploying, 2 days before, I have to notify to the developers and other people who are going to push the code into the repository. So for that, we need to stop them to push the code, because of some changes will may come, then it might be problem. So that's why we are stopping that branching strategy we are using, and we have to stop the code to push into the repositories. For that, we will secure the branch. Then nobody can push the code into the branches or repositories. They will keep their code in their local until unless once we unsecure the branch, then only they can push. This is the another way. because they cannot listen actually. If you say multiple times, some people they may not see the mails, and some people they cannot check their mails also. So at that time they will mistakenly they will push the code, and it may cause for us to while doing the deployment activities. So before deploying, we should clean the code, our code. We have to get the approval, the dev manager, and this is the way we have to maintain our application deployments activities also. And question in for our DevOps guys. So there is a question we can get from the interviews. So for example, if you are working as a DevOps engineer, they will ask you which branching strategy you guys are working. Majorly, they will ask. We There are three branching strategies in our any organization. One is dev, two is future branch, three is release branch. So development branch, future branch, release branch. So that DevOps guy who are working, he will work under only release branch. He won't work these two branches actually. So if someone asks you in the interview, so which branching strategy you guys are using means you can say we are using only release branching strategies. We are working on the release branch only. Because of these two branches we don't work because of we will not come under our part because of this is the development of code part. Any doubt here for the development future list? Any how it works? Anything? I need to explain?
Production version.
No, before the production.
Before production, release to the production version.
Release is the production.
Phasing or QA,
Ah,
something like that.
no, no, no. Development means actually what it will happen in the real time. So you have a one branch they will give you. So you will push your continuous your coding push to the master repository. Once you done your code work, I mean, for example, you have some UI part you are developing in the code part. You done this job. This sprint is completed. We can call as a sprint. This sprint you completed. What you will do? You will go for second sprint. So you don't want this code actually. You are going to change your code. You are going to work on the different coding part again. So that sprint will come not under this part. That's why what you will do means you will work on the development branch, and this branch keep on creating and deleting continuously. It's not a uh, permanent branch. It's a normal branch. Like you can close anytime. You can delete anytime. So it's not a mandatory. But future branch, what it is for example, you have UI same. You worked on sprint one. Now your UI future has came newly, and you are working that future into the sprint one which you work, and you have to add that feature into the sprint two. Then the branch is permanent. You have to update the code here in the new feature. That is a future branch. Once you've done the changes here, then that is once the changes will go to the release branch, then there is no change here actually. This is the final commit. So if you say I want to do some changes, anything means then nobody will agree to change this actually. If you want to do, you can do hotfix. Then you have to prepare. That's it. Then you will start the escalations, and everything may happen, and you have to go to the on call. You have to explain yourself, and you have to manage everything, and you have to. And also one more thing I have to explain. For example, I am the release guy. I mean, release uh, deployment guy. So, for example, what if my deployment failed? So I cannot go directly and say my deployment failed. So I cannot blame any developer or any tester, anyone. I can say my deployment failed. I don't know what is the issue exactly. So for that, our head of the team will ask details. So what we'll do, once our deployment failed, again we will roll back to the old version. So for old version only, what we are using is here, where it is release notes here. Why we release notes means release notes because of deployment failure purpose. We can use the release notes which previous version we utilized to work the application properly previously. For that we are using release notes for our understand purpose. Then if application failed means then we will roll back immediately to check the previous version and update it accordingly. So here, where is my, sorry. Mm, So head of the team will ask us, and we have to roll back, and we have to convey the three things. One is chronology. I think you guys know developers. And second one is RCA, root cause analysis, and also issue, what we have faced. So we have to provide the each step and each time also here in chronology, and we have to analyze the root cause, what is the exactly where the issue started. And here, what issue we faced with the logs we have to attach. These three steps we have to attach this release and we have to send, and we have to ask to the developer or anyone what is the exact issue. Because of this, we have to ask him as a causing of issue. So the developer who has done the check-ins, he has to come up with the notes, specific notes. He has to tell what is the issue and how he has done the going to hotfix and how much downtime he required, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. What are the changes he is going to make? He has to do especially to the head of the people. Then that is the different sector from the dev guys, which I doesn't know much, but from my end means I can do these things actually: chronology, root cause analysis, and issues of the application logs. So till now, any doubts? Shobha left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, yes, yes. So you guys have no doubts here, right? As of now.
No. But I asked you to repeat the steps, right? We have deviated to branching strategy here. Like 1 minute.
Which steps you are expecting? Sorry.
Person got phone now.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Key generation, restriction, branches, and
Okay.
after that, that 7 steps you have given.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One second, one second. I'm opening where the
I need the remaining steps.
yeah,
Branch
token
security.
creations,
1 minute. Token generation, clone the repository.
user creations, and
Uh,
repositories. Secure the repositories
1 minute. Secure the repository.
and secure branches,
Hmm.
key generations,
Key generation. Okay.
and GitHub actions.
GitHub actions.
Yes.
Okay.
And some admin related, like any installations required, any version upgradation, and if some guys are using IntelliJ actually, okay, so in that part they won't able to handle the Git related task anything, so they may face some issues. At that time we have to inform them, so what kind of version they are using, old versions, any compatible issues, like that is a different part. But that is not required, but you can say admin related tasks like that, anything.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So this till now, this is the Git part. Any doubts or application side, or else this chronology? What is chronology? What is RCA? If you want to explore more, or else issue log.
Yeah. If you have anything, you can tell me or else I can Google it. I don't have any doubt. Just understand the base. Also, I wanted to know, like, hello.
Yes, yes, yes.
In the meantime, between the next class, do I need to prepare anything or something?
No,
Get
you
in
have to
touch.
create the GitHub account
Okay.
and the AWS account.
That I already did. You
You
told
did.
me the first day.
Yeah, you have to install Mobaxter,
Ah, okay.
this one, and
Ah,
WinSCP,
mm,
WinSCP,
Uh,
If you want, I think that's it. That's it. This two is fine for connecting the servers.
okay.